We got the kids of billionaires doing stand-up comedy now, which is bad not just for comedy, but for society. And these books kind of predicted everything. Peter Turchin's a scientist who studies history like it's data, the patterns, the trends of a society collapsing. And one of the concepts he keeps coming back to is called elite overproduction. So back to the son of one of the richest men in America doing stand-up comedy. Basically his theory is that there's only so many spots at the top for rich people, right? There's only so many CEO roles, so many Senate seats, so many founding partner roles. When we create too many rich kids, there's not enough room at the top for them to fill in, so they start to trickle down into other spaces that weren't exactly built for them. In this book, Turchin talks about Rome, medieval Europe, pre-revolutionary France, all as examples where the society produced too many rich people and caused it to collapse. But it also applies to right now. This one's called The Fourth Turning. Different framework, same kind of conclusion. Their argument is that history moves in cycles, roughly 80 years, 4 different generations. You have a high, an awakening, an unraveling, then a crisis. Every 80 years, give or take, a moment when the old order breaks down and something new has to be built. They wrote this book in 1997, and they're pointing roughly at 2020 as the beginning of the next crisis. I'm not saying comedy should be gatekept. I think comedy is for everyone, but there's a difference here between just Nepo babies and the example I'm using here. Like when a baker's son becomes a baker, it makes sense, right? They probably grew up in a bakery and nobody bats an eye at that. Or same with like a filmmaker, an actor's child going into the industry. They grew up on sets, they grew up around the business. It makes sense. And even when they're not always the most talented, like Chet Hanks, nobody's really that mad at it. But when the son of the CEO of starts doing stand-up comedy, that's not because he clawed their way in there. It's because traditionally they just work for the son of a billionaire, the son of the owner of should work for but there's no more room up there. There's too many rich people. So they trickle down into rooms that weren't built for them. But stand-up comedy isn't inherited. It didn't come from prestige. It came from outsiders that didn't really fit into society necessarily. Immigrants, broke people, just weirdos in general. They can't get a win in society, so they find room full of strangers where they can build something. And that's not accidental, that's structural. The form was shaped by outsiders because outsiders needed it. Look, I chose this, right? Comedy, writing, production. I chose this over the stable lane, and I'm not asking for sympathy. I'd make that call again every single time and choose comedy. But there's something specific about being in rooms where comedy is someone else's hobby, where the stage is something they get to try because they've secured everything else, right? Where risk is theoretical for them. When comedy is survival for you, the set matters because you need it. It produces something for you. It's not, the risk isn't theoretical to me. Right? Comedy means a lot. It produces something different than when it's like a random Tuesday night experiment with no stakes. And I'm not saying rich kids aren't funny, right? Some of them probably are. I'm saying, what does it mean when the last cultural space that required you to have something to lose starts attracting people who have nothing to lose? I don't have an answer for that, but these people do, and it's not good.